And as always, on a weekly basis, Jody Jackson drops knowledge. Jody's Gems brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers. We appreciate E.D. Marshall Jewelers. The Cardinals coming off their bye week. They play at Seattle. The Seahawks, a dramatic victory on Sunday. Geno Smith, a late touchdown. And they come in at 5. Everybody's 5-5 except the Cardinals. If I would have told you through 10 games, the Cardinals would be atop the NFC West, and all these other teams, all three of them, Jody, are 5-5. Would you have bought into that?
It is surprising, especially with the 49ers, Brad. I think that's the one team, there's going to be a lot of panic in the Bay Area. There's already been a little bit even going into this game, but losing to the Seahawks, that is not something that they planned on, being 5-5 in the middle of the pack, and the Cardinals being at the top. It has been a surprise. There were so many questions coming into the season, particularly on defense, and really both sides of the ball. And then you add in special teams, they have all performed very well. A lot of things that are happening are positive for them, and Marvin Harrison Jr. has improved greatly in this first 10 games. So where can he go from here in this final 7? That is the question too. How much more, his ceiling over the next, decade plus is, we're going to see, hopefully see that. And we don't know where it will end. It may end up in a Hall of Fame career. We don't know. But what can it be in this last 7 in a year where the Cardinals need to grasp this opportunity to go to the playoffs in a year that no one really expected it?
E.D. Marshall Jewelers. Jody has the bling. It looks great.
Great new earrings here, Brad.
Look at that. I am jealous. How about that? One other thing before we get you out here, and I'm just looking at the standings now over in the NFC, and just there's one team that to me feels like they're far and away much better than everybody, including the Cardinals, and that's Detroit. And then I see Philadelphia. Their defense is getting better and better. I look at the rest of the NFC and I see a lot of parity. It's pretty clear Detroit's found their mark, but it's mid-November, not 1st of January. Wow, how do you see the NFC right now and where the Cardinals stack up?
Well, you're right. I mean, the Eagles have some momentum now as well after what we saw on Thursday Night Football last week. I think it's coming together for them. And Saquon Barkley is truly a special player. We knew that. But now with the other threats around him, I feel like with the Giants, they didn't have the most consistent quarterback play. They didn't always have the best line. I mean, the Eagles right now are putting it all together. So I do like the Eagles. The Lions, though, you're right. They have everything and they have that physical style. They've made it a habit. And Jared Goff, solid, the run game, punishing. So, I mean, there are some very good teams. I think I'm still looking to see what Minnesota is, and of course, the Cardinals are going to see that right up close. And the NFC West, we thought the Niners were going to be one of those elite teams, and they are really having some problems. Nick Bosa and his hip pointer injury that keeps popping up and maybe cost them the game, because when he left, Seattle had their way with the 49ers. You just keep plowing ahead.
That's right.
And we'll see where this all lands, because there's a lot of flawed teams. And the AFC has been, you've looked at it and you've seen more complete teams. You've seen teams that really stand out above the rest. And the NFC's been a little more full of parity the last few years. And I think that's a benefit to the Cardinals, clearly. But just to see them in it is, it's invigorated the fan base, that's for sure. And that is always good, because we know how tough it is here in this market at times to drum that up with all that we have going on in our beautiful state of Arizona. But the passion from the football fans, Sun Devils and Cardinals, it's right now is the time to really embrace this, because as you know, Brad, you and I have been through some rough football seasons on all sides of it, and it is no fun. It is no one wants to talk about the draft in November.
No, we've been talking about draft in October and late September sometimes, like in all seriousness. And we don't like talking on the college end about how there's no players from the team that's for the draft. And now this year we have a team that's going to go deep into the postseason, perhaps, potentially. I was looking at some mock drafts, and the Cardinals aren't listed in the top 20 for once, which is great.
Yeah.
Like Arizona State's going to have some players. So, yeah, I mean, Jody and I, we could be behind the scenes and say, man, this is no fun. And we've actually probably said that to one another at times. So we're living it up here a little bit, just like
Yeah,
you
might
guys
as well
are.
enjoy it. The
Right,
national people are calling, want to get our take, right? Everybody wants to talk about ball here in Arizona all of a sudden.
right. Jody Jackson, Jody Jackson's Gems, brought to you by ED Marshall Jewelers. Appreciate your time as always. Thanks.
Thank you, Brad.